Hi guys, it's Alara from Witchy Web We Weave. This is my first video back after kind of spending taking a long vacation. But today I wanted to talk to you about my top 5 tech witch tips. I'm generally a person that I like using technology. I like incorporating it into stuff because a lot of times it's hard for me to sit down and do a lot of the more like detailed like rituals and things. But I like doing a lot of everyday witchy crafts. Just kind of incorporating it into my daily life. And I wanted to kind of suggest and talk to you about some of the things that I do. So my top 5 tips for incorporating technology in a very witchy manner and just kind of using it to enhance the general experience. So number 5 is setting up an altar on your computer or your phone's homepage. Now, this can be like an altar, like in a more broad, like talking about finding an image that incorporates all the different elements that you like having at an altar for you, whether that is a representation for all of the different elements, or if your altar is more of like a dedication shrine and having just a picture of your deity, or a devotional artwork, any kind of these things. Excuse me for a second. Ow, quit bub. Sorry, he's kicking me. But setting up an image on your homepage of your phone or your computer that kind of is something that whenever you're out and about and you don't have a little mini travel altar, or it would look suspicious for you to all of a sudden start breaking out little objects and things, having a visual reference, something that you can look at and just pull up on your phone and look at it and have that time, that space. It could even just be having a picture of your in-person altar on your phone, on your home screen. So you would have to actually unlock your phone, and not everybody is going to be able to see that. So there's that. And then number 4, using candle apps. This is something that I discovered more recently. Excuse me. There's your bone. Go get it. Sorry, he's having an energetic morning. But using candle apps is something that I started doing only more recently, but it's so cool. And there's so many different things that you can do with it, because a lot of one of the candle apps that I have, you can set a timer for how long the candle on your screen burns. You can change the color of it to most of the colors of the rainbow. Or it will give you an option to have a text box above the candle to write whatever you want to write in it. And all of these things are so neat and so cool and can lend them so well to witchy things, because it's basically allowing you to customize any candle, any color candle that you want, to set an intention, to use as a tech way of devotion to your deity. One of the things that I've been doing recently, talking, kind of like combining number 5 and number 4 of my witchy tips, is I have a picture of my deity on my home screen. And the only, I have an Apple phone, but all the way on one of the pages of my phone, I don't have any apps on there except for one. And it's the candle app. So her face is unobscured. She is right there in all of her beauty and wonder. And the only thing there is the candle app that I kind of mean as a devotional to her. And throughout the day, either whenever I'm thinking about her or at set times during the day, I will go into the candle app and I will set it for a set amount of time. And it is in a personal color to her. I have her name written in a text box above the candle, and I allow it to burn while thinking of her. And it's a way of keeping her present in my life, setting aside that time for her, trying to honor, So that's just one example of a way that you can use this candle app. Being able to change the color and all of these things would work very well for doing technical candle magic, basically. Because it's a lot of what candle magic is setting that intention, and while it's burning, the thought that it's releasing that intention into the ether where it can do its work. So just because a candle is not physical and it's not physically burning in person and you can feel heat or anything, does not mean it can't work. It doesn't mean it can't help set intention, or even help, cause something to manifest. Just a thought. Number 3. So number 3 is similar to number 5, but a little different. So it's using wallpapers on your phone to set intentions or do workings. I actually do this a lot because it's more than most things throughout the day. I'm constantly having to check my phone, checking the time, checking to see if somebody has called or texted me, all of these different things. I'm constantly, every once in a while, having to look at my phone. So why not every single time that I go to look at the screen of my phone, have an immediate reminder of whatever I'm focusing on for that week, whatever, something that is tied into whatever, if I have a spell working at home, like an actual candle magic working, having a physical reminder, intention, all of these things. So a lot of times, I pick a particular wallpaper that either has imagery or color or an association of some kind with whatever I'm already working on. So if I'm doing self-love work that I'm focusing on for that week, my wallpaper might end up being something with pink and white and hearts, or like a lotus flower or something like that. If I'm focusing on health, or I'm doing a money spell, I might do green, or all of these different things. You can either do it based off color, you can do it based off of imagery or symbolism. Right now, I have my home screen is sunflowers and bees, but it's arranged in a geometric pattern. It's a fabric that I absolutely love. That I loved it so much that I took a picture of it to use as a wallpaper. And for me, I use it for intention, for community and working together to promote hope. Especially right now when I'm making this video, we're currently going through the pandemic of COVID-19. So for me, having that on the front of this front screen of my phone, every single time that I look at it, I am reminded of people working together to instill hope in a very scary time. Something to think about. Number 2. Number 2 is make an electronic grimoire or book of shadow. This is something that I've actually been working on here, I want to say over the last couple of months, and I'm actually hoping to produce a video later, just kind of giving a brief explanation and kind of like a very brief flip through of some of the things that I have going on in my electronic book of shadows. The reason why I suggest this as my top 2, tech witch tip is because it's so easy and it's so, I don't have to worry about it like leaving it lying around where someone might find it, or people poking through it without my permission. The way that I do my electronic book of shadows is I have it on an app on my phone, on OneNote, but it's password protected. You can add links to the page, whatever page you're on, for let's say, I don't know, one of your tabs is casting a circle. Well, you can have your heading, casting a circle. You can type in all of your information that you want to be on there for that particular page, for that topic. You can, add on links of where you can go for more information that someone has, written by credible authors. You can click and add a video to it, or you can insert photos. And that's one of the big things I really like about being able to have an electronic book of shadows as well as a physical one, because I have both, but they're two very different things. But a lot of times I end up using my electronic one more because it's more accessible to me. My big one is like a big, hefty, chunky thing, and I can't take that everywhere. But my electronic one fits in my pocket. I can take it anywhere I want. Anytime I need to look something up, check something that is already, part of my knowledge of things, all I have to do is just open that app and flip over to the page and real quick get a read on it. Oh look, there's a link that I can go to get more information. Oh look, there's a photo from the last time I did this particular spell, so I can remember what ingredients I need. And I'm a very visual person. I love being able to have photos inserted into things like this, because I can get a lot more sometimes out of a photo than I can by sitting and reading through a lot of text. But that's why I really wanted to recommend it, because I think it's such an innovative idea for witches, and we don't hardly seem to use it. I very rarely hear anybody really talking about having an electronic grimoire. And the big thing is, I think that a lot of witchcraft is kind of, I love the fact that a lot of it is nature based, and there's a very big incorporation on working in a physical way, doing physical workings, being connected to the earth, and you can do all of those wonderful things, but it doesn't mean that you can't incorporate the convenience and the innovation of technology and how that can help improve your practice or even expand on it, give it an extra layer of dimension, make it easier for you to do things out in the working world where things may be more technical. But I love the fact that I can do all of these different things that works with the way that my brain works, while at the same time I can put a password on it and hide it inside of an app. Or if you're on a computer, you can hide it in a ghost file, and things like that, and people are not going to be able to easily find it. It's going to be under multiple passcodes, hidden away, and people are not going to really be able to find it unless they know specifically about it and where to go looking for it. So it's a great deal safer, especially for people from the closet that are having to hide and can't have a physical book of shadows, because that bothers some people. Not being able to have a physical book or having a physical copy may cause you anxiety of what happens if it's found. So there's a suggestion. Which, moving on, my number one tech witch tip is Pinterest is your friend. Pinterest is your very best friend. I love it, especially if you are visually inclined, or if you're a very visual person. Pinterest is the best thing ever, and I've been on Pinterest for a very long time. But the reason why I suggest Pinterest as my number one witchy tip is because you can do so much with the imagery that comes from Pinterest. You can do so much with the ideas that come from it. I have several boards on my Pinterest for different topics. I have whole boards dedicated to to tarot work, to tarot research, keeping track of decks that I like, or imagery that is very provocative or really speaks to me. I have multiple Pinterest boards for individual tarot decks that I am actively making and building and creating for myself, from photos that I see, from symbols that I find. All you need is an image. And even being the fact that Pinterest allows you to add in your own pins. So if you find an image, or you do like a piece of art, or you notice something, all you have to do is take a picture of it, and you can upload and pin that image into your Pinterest in a particular on a particular board, which is basically a folder or a file. But it's a very physical representation of a file or a folder of images. and you can break it down into sections. A lot of my individual boards that on a tarot deck that I'm actively making and working on, I have it within the board. I have it broken down into sections for the majors and each of the minors, and being able to like kind of lay out so I can see like, okay, this card's going to be for my ace, this card's going to be for my 6 or my 7, and being able to like manipulate that and work it in a way that is very visual, so it works very well for me. But not only that, the reason why I like suggesting Pinterest for witchy things is the fact that you can make your Pinterest board private. You can lock it, so to speak. Over in your settings, there is, or whenever you create a new board, it will ask you whether you want it to be public or private. And anything, if you make it private, anything that you put on that board, it will not alert people. If you pin something of theirs to that board, they won't be able to go and look at it. They won't be able to go and find it. It's basically invisible except to you, and or anyone logging in under your information. So if you are able to keep your account to where no one else goes in and logs in on it, and it's only you, then you can keep that locked and no one else is going to be able to see it. No one else is going to know about it. And that can be very useful for, especially if you're witching from the broom closet. But that, and there are so many different things on Pinterest that have given me ideas for altar crafts, for new ways of looking at things. Yes, in Pinterest there are some, there are images that give information that I like doing for like initial research. If I'm looking for like the meaning of a rock or a crystal, I may start off very quickly, because Pinterest, I'm used to it. I can do it pretty quickly. I may real quick go into Pinterest and just look up the meaning of labradorite. And there'll be like a little image, and it'll have a picture of the stone, and it'll have like a brief like metaphysical properties or something. I like doing that initially because if I think that that's the name of the crystal, or if I think that's what it looks like, I have a quick visual reference. So I was like, oh yeah, that's it. And then it'll give me, I use it as a suggestion. Okay, maybe good for this. Okay, maybe good for that. All right, and then I'll do my own further research later. So it's a very good like first stop for just a little quick guide. I wouldn't rely on the information that you get from such things from Pinterest, but it's a very good like very brief quick guide to this is what it may be good for, and then using that to further research and kind of go based off of and build from with actual sources, real information, things like that. But that's my top 5 tech witch tips. I hope that you guys enjoyed this. I hope that it gave you some ideas. But I will see you guys next video, and I guess I'll see you then. Many blessings.